Hello YouTube, how's it going? Welcome to part 7 of the Excel tips and tricks video tutorial series. In this video we're going to be focusing on something called a goal seek. It sounds complicated, but it's really not that bad. All it is basically an iterative procedure where Excel will perform trial and error to try to solve a problem that you give it. So let's just dive into the details. So I'm going to start with an example of calculating the volume of a cylinder. I'm going to type the equation for volume just in case you forgot. So the volume of a cylinder, if you recall, is equal to pi over 4 times the diameter squared multiplied by the length. So pi over 4 times d squared, that's the diameter, times the length. It sounds confusing right now, but don't worry, it's going to be very easy. Alright, let's pretend like we've got an example problem. And let's say in this example they say they want to know what diameter is required for a 100-foot cylinder if its volume is 3,000 cubic feet. So what diameter do you need for a 100-foot cylinder if its volume is 3,000 cubic feet? So how are we going to solve this? Let's go ahead and do a calculation on volume just real quick. So volume is a function of diameter and length. I could also type pi in here. So just in case you didn't know, to get pi in Excel, you type equals pi and you open close your parentheses, and that's 3.14159 and a bunch of other numbers. So that's pi. Remember here our length was 100 feet, so I'm going to type foot right there. And diameter, we don't know what diameter is supposed to be. So for now I'll just leave it as empty. So the volume, remember we said was pi over 4, so we can say pi over 4 times diameter squared times this thing squared times length. That's going to be our volume in cubic feet. Right now it's 0 because I don't have any diameter. If I put diameter of 1, you can see the volume is 78.5. Let's reduce those decimals. That's way too many. I don't like seeing all that. Whoops. There we go. 78.5 cubic feet. So let's keep on guessing. What do we need to get? What diameter is required to get 3,000 cubic feet? So let's try 2. Still not big enough. 3. Still not big enough. Let's try 5. Still not big enough. Let's try 6. Almost there. Let's try 7. Okay, that's too much. So obviously the answer is somewhere between 6 and 7. We could just keep on guessing, 6.5 or something until we, get the exact value. But why not use a tool called Goal Seek? If you go to the Data tab up top and you select the What If Analysis button, you just click this, and there's an option for Goal Seek. Let's go ahead and click Goal Seek, and you'll notice this window pops up. There's 3 different things we need to put in: a set cell, to value cell, and by changing cell. So I'm going to explain this. So our set cell is actually going to be this volume, because the volume is our output. We want to set the volume to a certain value by changing another cell. So we're going to set cell B5, which is the volume, to a value of 3,000. That's our cubic feet. That's the output that we're trying to achieve. And we're going to change a certain cell. Which cell is that? We're going to change the diameter cell. So it's going to iterate over the diameter cell's value until it achieves a volume of 3,000 cubic feet. So it's going to do all the guessing for us. So we click the 6.5 foot cell. Now when I press OK, it's going to perform the calculation. So I just pressed OK, and now the answer is 6.18. That's exactly the diameter that you need to get 3,000 cubic feet. That's pretty cool. Now before we go, I'm going to show you a nicer way that you could write this equation. This is not actually related to Goal Seek, but it's just something that will allow you to write a more beautiful looking equation if you want to, maybe type out your equations on your Excel spreadsheet just to make things look nicer than all of this funky business. So let's make a nicer looking equation real quick. It's pretty easy. All you do is click the Insert tab and then press on the equation symbol over here. You click this and now it'll say Type Equation here. It's a box, so you can just move it over here. And I'm going to expand the width so I have a little bit more room to type. So whenever you highlight Type Equation here, you'll notice at the top in the ribbon there's a Design button, and it's got this Equation Tools title on top of it. That only appears whenever you click on the equation. So if you click out of it, it disappears. So you have to be in the equation to be accessing the design tools. So you click design, and now you've got all these different options here. You've got a list of different Greek symbols, You can also choose different types of fractions, subscripts and superscripts, radicals, like different types of square roots, and you've got integrals for all you math nerds out there. So let's just type this volume of cylinder equation really quickly. So I'm going to type volume is equal to pi over 4. So what is pi over 4? How do we type that? Well, that's a fraction. So I'm going to click the fraction option, and I like the way this one looks. It's a dotted square divided by another dotted square. The dotted square is basically an area where you can put more information. So you can pick which format you like. I like this sort of format. It's nice and easy and visually appealing. So I'm going to click this, and now you see I've got these two different dotted areas. So if I click on one dotted area, you'll notice it's highlighted. Anything I type right now will go inside of that area. I'm going to Control Z that, or just delete it rather. So you can click in either one of these areas, and then you can start adding information. So I'm going to start with the numerator, which obviously is pi. So let's figure out where pi is in these symbols. So you got to click this little arrow down, and you'll notice there it is, pi. So I'm going to click pi. That's in the numerator, and it's going to be divided by 4. Now don't be tempted to click right here, because if you do, you'll notice the design area disappears. So you have to actually click back on the 4 and then use the right arrow key on your keyboard. Hit the right arrow key and you're still inside of your formula. So if you go ahead now and press the multiplication symbol, you've got pi over 4 times d squared. Okay, what is d squared? That is basically a superscript. So you need to have this option right here. This is superscript, because you see you've got a box down here and another one up top. This one over here is a subscript, so if you had something like a sub 0, something with a subscript, you would use that. We don't need that, we need this one. So let's click this, and now we'll type in d squared. Press the right arrow key once again, and now type times length. And that is it. You've got a beautiful looking equation that now you can put this wherever you want in Excel, and it just makes things look a little nicer and keeps it organized. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And that's all for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.